Thanks for joining us this week for the meditation that me and Sheena did together on Facebook Live. It was our first Facebook Live event, and since we were expecting more than 100 people, we decided to go Facebook Live instead of Zoom because Zoom had a restriction of 100 people. Some of the feedback that we got from Facebook Live was that the sound clarity was not great. A lot of disturbance, especially during the meditation part, um, where people could not hear me. So what I decided was make a video with better sound and put it out there so people can use this and benefit. So I'll be going and repeating some of the stuff that I spoke this week, uh, especially about the meditation aspect and why are we doing this. So you might find it repetitive. If you were there listening to this, you can just skip and go to the guided meditation part. But for others who were not present and want to know exactly what kind of meditation we will be doing and why this meditation, I'll briefly talk about the stuff that I spoke this week. So, as we are in the midst of crisis. The coronavirus has been taken over everyone's life, and you know, especially here in New York and New Jersey, it's been like really bad, and it has become the epicenter in the United States. And there's a lot of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, depression, boredom. You know, people are losing their jobs, their loved ones. You know, there's no sense of control over things, and that's the reason we decided that we'll start doing this meditation sessions once a week. So we'll be doing every Wednesday. I'll create the event for the next one soon. So why meditation? Meditation, I would say, has been one habit that had the most impact in my life. It just gave me that clarity about how things are just happening and I have no control over it. It gave me a clarity about understanding my mind, my body, and how they interact, how I interact with the world. Um, and, the more I started practicing meditation, which, past 2.5 years I've been doing every day, um, it has helped me grounded and given me a stability in the sense that whatever world throws at me, I have a tool which I can use and respond to it accordingly, causing less suffering, mental, physical. So just to give you uh, an example about my life, more than 10 years ago, during my teenage years, actually, I had a back injury while playing badminton, a sport. And, since then, I would get these spasms every, like, at least twice a year. And for 5 to 6 weeks, total inactive, It was so much suffering, not only just physically, but mentally as well. And I had no tool. I was taking medication. It got so worse, I had to take injections, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, this is how it is going to be rest of my life, and I just have to deal with it. Until I was introduced to meditation, which was in 2012, like 8 years ago, which was my first ever meditation. I went for a 10-day retreat, Vipassana meditation, and there it gave me a tool to see the suffering that I was causing myself. I understood that there was a physical pain, but then how I chose to respond to that pain was giving me more suffering. I would say almost 95% was the actual suffering that I was causing myself internally. The 5% was the actual pain. And, you know, um, since then, I got that clarity that, things are just happening and I have no control, but how I respond to it will determine how much I suffer. So, I mean, if you really think about it, like, we don't have control over things. Just when was the last time you thought of breathing? Just it's just like thank God you didn't think of it, because every time you would go to bed, and think like stop thinking about breathing, you might just end up dying. You know, it's just happening. It's just like naturally happening. Like when you eat food, like when was the last time you thought about digesting that food? You know, or your heart beating, or all these enzymes in your liver, the toxins from kidneys, like everything is just like taken care of it by itself. You're absolutely not thinking about it. It's just happening. The nature is doing its stuff. And if you think about it, this whole virus, you know, we have bacteria, we have virus already in our body, and our immune system is constantly fighting to keep us alive. It's right now happening. So just because right now this coronavirus, there is no vaccine, or our immune system doesn't know how to, you know, like create those antibodies, or it's that's why it's a little scary. But already we have all this thing happening. So the whole point of this is like things are just happening. We have no control, and again, how we respond will determine how much we suffer. So with that said, before I get into meditation, I gave this example on Wednesday, which I heard from Swami Sarvapriyananda. Um, so it's about like Buddha speaks about nature of suffering. So there's this guy who's been hit by an arrow. So imagine the pain and shock from being hit by an arrow. And unfortunate for this guy, he gets hit by a second arrow. So the first arrow in this case is what the world throws at us. This coronavirus, diseases, loss of job. And the second arrow is our internal reaction, all this anxiety, anger, depression, fear. So all this internal reaction. So Buddha says spirituality comes and helps us, or this meditation or whatever you follow comes and helps us alleviate the suffering from the second arrow, which is our own internal reactions. And for the first arrow, of course, we have to take precautions what the public health officials are telling us, what the doctors are telling us, stay home, wear mask, and do all that stuff. So that will mitigate the effects of the first arrow or the virus, and also its effects on society. Um, but the actual real suffering is the reaction from the second arrow, which is our internal reactions. So that's what we're going to try and focus our attention on. So this meditation has two components. The first component is the mindfulness, where we're going to see how things are not in our control and they are just happening. And by just being in the present and seeing reality for what it is, not what we want, and it will also help us calm and stabilize the mind. And the second component is the awareness, where you know, direction is going to go directed inwards to the source awareness, our consciousness, and we'll try and stabilize there. So if I ask you, what do you think, like, who are you? Like, do you think you are a body? Do you think you are a mind? Or you think you are a combination of mind and body? And what we're going to try and do is investigate that with this meditation, you know, what we really are, you know. And by doing that investigation, again, it's not going to be anything imaginary, it's just going to be a direct experience, you know, absolutely your own direct experience where you're going to go and notice things, like, and you start, it will help you change the perspective, the way you look at your body, the way you look at your mind, this emotions, thoughts, all those things will be, you know, be looked at, or we're gonna try and bring our attention there. So let's go ahead and start the meditation. I'm just trying to remember if there's anything else. Yeah, I mean, during the meditation, this like, people who have not done meditation or are doing for the first time, there's this, like, thing that's been told, like, oh, you have to control thoughts or things like that. Nothing, just accept the reality as it is. If thoughts are coming, so be it. Just try and be alert and pay attention to the instructions, and you know just follow those instructions and try and keep your awareness to that. And let's go and investigate. All right, so let's so we're going to start the meditation. If you want to dim the lights or switch off the lights, close the door, go ahead and do that. And try to find a comfortable sitting position. You can sit on the floor, or you can sit on the sofa or a chair, wherever you're comfortable. Just make sure your spine is erect. You can have back support if you want, that's fine. Just making sure your back is straight, like the spine is straight. So the whole point is just to be alert, relax, and not moving. So gently closing our eyes, we're going to bring our attention to the nostrils. Notice the breathing. Try to keep your mouth closed and breathe only through the nose. So keeping our attention on the nostrils, notice how the breathing is happening. Effortlessly. Breath going in, breath going out, without any effort. If your mind wanders, thoughts come, it's okay. Just smile and bring your attention back to the breathing. breath going in, breath coming out. If you do take a deep breath, or a fast or a shallow breath, notice after a few seconds it comes back to its natural rhythm effortlessly. Keeping our attention on the breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Natural breath. Notice you are aware of the breathing, and breathing is not aware of you. You are aware of breath going in. You are aware of the breath going out. Notice how the breath keeps on changing. Sometimes deep breath, sometimes shallow breath. But you, the awareness, is aware of the changing of the breath, and you, the unchanging awareness, is witnessing it. Now, let's gently bring our attention to the sounds. The sounds in the room, or the sounds outside the room, or the distant sounds. Notice how sounds are just coming and going in you, the awareness. Any sound, loud noise, music, or no sound, all happening in you, the awareness. Notice you have absolutely no control over what kind of sounds you hear. It's just happening. sounds are just coming and you are aware. Notice how you are aware of the sounds and not the sounds are aware of you. Notice how you are hearing different sounds or no sound, but you, the awareness, is only one. Notice how the sounds are constantly changing. They start out loud and then they fade away. But you, the awareness, is not changing. You are the witness of the changing of the sounds. Sounds come and go, and you are the witness of all. Now, let's gently move our attention to thoughts. Notice how thought is appearing in you, the awareness. A thought comes, stays for a while, and disappears back in you, the awareness. Positive thoughts, negative thoughts, no thought, they all come into you, the awareness. You are aware of them. Notice how you are aware of the thoughts and thoughts are not aware of you. Notice how are the thoughts continuously changing, but you are this unchanging awareness, witnessing the change of thoughts. Now, let's gently move our attention towards emotions. Notice how you are aware of the emotions and not the emotions are aware of you. Notice when you woke up this morning, you had a different emotion. You were feeling joy, and then after a few hours, you were feeling angry. Whatever emotion, notice how it was all changing, and yet it was all happening in you, the awareness. All these emotions, joy, happiness, sad, fear, anger, continuously changing. And you are aware of all the changes. You are aware of all these emotions that are happening and changing, and they are not aware of you. The body is continuously changing. A baby body, a teenage body, the body that you have now, the body you will have later, continuously changing. With you, the awareness, just witnessing the changes of the body. Healthy body, sick body, healthy body again. All happening in you, the awareness. You are the witness of changing body. Notice how your mind was when you were a kid. Notice how your mind was when you were a teenage. Notice how your mind is now. Continuously changing. But yet you, the awareness, was in that body and mind when you were a child. You were the awareness shining in all those experiences. Experience of a child body and mind, teenage body and mind, a current body and mind. Unchanging, constant awareness, experiencing all these changes. this awareness. You are this consciousness, because of which this body, these sensory organs, this mind function. They are all continuously changing, and you, the unchanging awareness, always witnessing. You are this awareness, untouched by the changes around you. Now I'm going to recite Om for 3 times. Please feel free to join in, and then we're going to conclude our meditation. Can gently open your eyes, first by looking at your lap. Now you can look up. Right, yeah, thank you very much, and I'll be setting up the meditation session for next week. I think we'll be doing every Wednesdays. I just want to check on the time, because we do have a lot of people from India who want to join in as well, so I just want to make sure the time is suitable for the audience in US and in India, and also we have some in Australia. So yeah, so thank you very much, and see you next week.